Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So, Monarchs, domain Monarchs for, well, the format post Magnificent Mavens, I guess. So Darkwing Blast, Magnificent Mavens, basically because of, the Bestials and Fenrir. The thing is that I've changed the builds significantly, I think. The thing is that I'm looking to, like the potential Ishizu matchup. This is something I might play for Dortmund as well, simply because Dortmund is in, 2 weeks? So that's right in the middle of doing, the Ishizu format and Ishizu cards. And if you're not playing Tearlaments, you're probably not having a chance in the format, I think. So that's why I kind of prefer going in with something like this, as in going first. Well, it also depends somewhat on the hand traps as well. That's if Ash Blossom nukes this deck, as you know, that doesn't change. But we might see people dropping Ash from the main deck as soon as, the Ishizu cards become playable. That's something we haven't seen now, last weekend in Minneapolis, players are picking up Ash Blossoms again. But who knows, that might change. But anyway, so you saw that in the current build, in this particular build, still testing with a couple of cards like Allure of Darkness. In theory the card is good, but in practice I'm probably going to drop Allure, even though I'm running, 10 to 11 Darks, I think. So new additions to the deck compared to, some months ago. Last that I showcased Monarchs is the Bestial cards. They don't need an explanation. Going first, they are iffy. Again, your opponent or you need either light or dark, or a light and dark or dark in the graveyard. So going first, those cards are quite iffy. Then again, like against, Tearlaments, and if your opponent has Heaviness or something like that, sure, they are probably getting that dark, maybe light in the graveyard, but that's, might be a bit far-fetched. But going first, those aren't the best. But well, the thing is that you can definitely, well, no. Imagine if going second, then the Bestial cards are fantastic. Magnamut and Druid's Worm are probably just fine. I'm not too comfortable maxing out Druid's Worm because of that, right? You can't open with like multiple Magnamut and Druid's Worm because you can't start playing, simply because your Monarch engine won't be alive, right? I mean, the Bestials here in this case are just Tribute Fodder, but there are some situations where you might want to Tribute for, either Magnamut or Druid's Worm, simply because you don't have a tribute monster in your hand. So they're very similar to Red Layer. Red Layer, Red Layer being either Tribute Fodder or a Tribute Monster. Same with the Bestial cards. And I feel a big missing piece for this deck is Fenrir. Fenrir is a fantastic card. It's fantastic for basically any deck, but especially for this one as well. Even though it might, contradict a little with the Bestial engine, but you can play around that. Be a bit more cautiously with your Bestials during your opponent's turn. Make sure that you can end on an empty field or something like that. But again, Fenrir, a free level 7, probably just fine as, Tribute Fodder. It can be used as a Tribute monster on its own, even though it's a level 7. Needs 2 tributes, rarely, but, it might happen. But its monster effect, it's where it's at, right? It's like going second, that's again the big piece that, like, Domain Monarchs missed years ago. Now it kind of helps out. Fenrir being that Tribute Fodder, like a big push, a threat for your opponent, basically threatening every boss monster, every floodgate, face-up floodgate that is from your opponent, and back it up with my own floodgate being domain, and you at least need one tribute summoned monster on your side of the field. It's quite disgusting, right? The thing is that, again, this is for post-Magnificent Mavens. People might drop Ash from the main deck, might be the case, we don't know yet. Cyclones, again, which are definitely side deck staples nowadays, like Lightning Storm evenly matched. Those cards are definitely going in Game 2, Game 3. In like tournament environment, but you're siding for that, right? Like Solemn Judgment, Solemn Scolding are all cards you can definitely deck in. Maybe mained, probably not, but side deck definitely against those cards. Like if you're going second, you might even side deck in evenly matched on your own as well. So, again, the Bestials are fantastic. Like, against Tears, this deck works really wonders. I mean, okay, sure, they can, mill multiple cards. Some of the Ishizu cards you know, their DD Crow effect could hurt, sending back a Pantheism from your graveyard back to the deck, or Prime even. That definitely hurts, but the deck is somewhat aggressive, more aggressive than it was before with Eidos, Idea, Mithra. That's a bit too slow, and the thing is that the Bestials are hand traps, and that's something that the deck, like in the past, you didn't really have space to play hand traps, right? And here in this case the Bestials are both, well, are actually hand traps. They are Tribute Fodder and could be used as tribute monsters, just in case if you have something like Return on the field. So I mean, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. And in theory, like, okay, they're darks. I was also playing Allure, but the thing is that my experience with Allure is I either don't draw it at all, even though I'm running like 2 or 3 copies, you know, been switching it around, or I draw multiple copies and either no dark or maybe 1 dark, and then it's like, am I going to use Allure? Probably not, because again I need that Vanity's Fiend or Erebus or whatever on my side, or at least as a tribute monster. So Allure is like, in theory it sounds really nice, but in practice it just never works out. Again, that's, you know, it's just my luck. But again, if you have any suggestions, definitely let me know, like other options. Again, I can't see myself running like Mithra, I don't know. Mithra maybe for the extra tribute summon, it could be a light in the graveyard for a potential Bestial package. Then again, you know, that light in the graveyard might turn on my opponent's Bestial card, so... I mean, the Bestial Ward is definitely... You'll see it here in this particular duel against Spright, right? Like here, those couple of duels against Ishizu, those were pretty much the only ones I had, so... It's doing okay. The builds, you know, might not be, whatchamacallit, ideal, but, I mean, Vanity's Fiend, Majesty's Fiend, Domain, you can't go wrong with that. And of course, the side deck is something very crucial, but then again, I'm also citing stuff against Evenly, Lightning, Cyclone, and the thing is that, again, we're going into another new format, post Darkwing Blast. We've had that, you know, last weekend in the YCS, but upcoming, again, a new YCS. New format with the Ishizu card, so that it's going to be completely different, right? Fenrir Roars, I mean, that's cool. My Drew Swarm hit the board eventually, right? You know, with those chainlinks, that's the thing. And that's cool. I mean, Prime itself cannot be bestialed, if that's a name. Because again, it's not a monster, right? But I mean, it's perfect tribute. I mean, okay, against Ishizu cards, they can be, or at least it can be sent back to the deck. That's something that you know, definitely need to play around that. But I mean, going second against the Ishizu deck, they are not really pumping out too many negations, since that's still the biggest threat of this deck. Like, if you're going second and your opponent can pump out multiple negations. But let's face it, nowadays, like, again, post Ishizu, post Magnificent Mavens, Ishizu deck is probably, or could potentially end on Baron as a potential Omni-Negate. That's it. They have the new fusion, but that negates summon, so I don't really care. Stormfort and, you know, other stuff. Right, so that seems fine, no? Like, Fenrir can plow through that field. And Toad, like, looking at Spright. Spright is definitely well, not a terrible, but a tough matchup because of Smashers. And some potential tech cards in the main deck, like Imperm, Enemy Controller, you know, those cards that could potentially shut down an early Vanity's Fiend. Like, here in this situation, you're just a sitting duck. But again, going second against a board of Elf, mainly Toad for potential double Omni-Negation, and then either Carrot or Red, that's hard. Well, it's hard for any deck, right? But the thing is that the side deck might need Dark Rulers as well, right? If you know you're going second, Dark Ruler evenly, like those are probably the cards to go for. Anka Mufrit, the Pendulum Upstart, I feel is fine as a 3-off, even though it's like, you can't use it together with Stormfort, right? But going first, getting that extra, that +1, plus a Tribute Father on field, because again, it can be special summoned from the extra deck, it's just far too good. And, you know, it might contradict with Fenrir, but look at this, like, keeping Fenrir on the field, again, threatens a potential monster effect from your opponent, or a big Floodgate card from your opponent as soon as, you know, Fenrir can attack, or is able to, at least if your opponent uses a monster effect, right? Plus I have a Fenrir in my hand for next turn, so it's fantastic, really, really solid. Like here, and that's the thing, right? They can just search Smashers to shut down Domain. And here I was like, maybe I should side deck is it Metaverse? Metaverse, right? It's the trap that searches the, whatchamacallit, any field spell from the deck, you know, directly activated. That could be something, but it's at 1, right? Yeah, I think so. Maybe I should, you know, go for like a small Mystic Mine approach. Then again, yeah, I mean, Mystic Mine, it's Mystic Mine, right? Maybe with Demise of the Land or something like that. In this case, Surge Domain. That might be something. Yeah, probably the case. So Change of Heart to force out Elf. Red here in this case, I guess it's fine. My Fenrir cannot hit the board. And here, you know, the situation with Allure, it's really awkward, right? Could be another card. So again, use, or at least chain block the red, right? Erebus Chainlink 1, the return Chainlink 2. And then with the attack boost of Domain, I can attack over all of the monsters. And here, again, a very nice situation, having at least one tribute summoned monster on my side of the field. And then, I mean, here in this case, I guess you... no, you need to normal summon for swap. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, that's the thing, right? Domain locks your opponent from using their extra deck unless they have a tribute summoned monster. And as you know, the Bestials can, you know... Yeah, that's iffy. So how to get rid of that? Maybe my own Bestial cards? Or Stormfort Aether or something like that, since I'm not running Kuras. Or Sele Glare as a potential Aether summon during their turn. I'm not sure about that. I don't like it that much, but I like the build, especially, you know, in that awkward format of Ishizu, where, you know, it's tier 0, literally tier 0. But like suggestions or tips, they are definitely welcome. So let me know, like cards that I'm missing or text for the deck, maybe in case of or in favor of Allure, something like that. Definitely let me know. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. We can sign out. Peace.